This is the driver's side door that came on the car. It's not original to the car when we got it. It's got it's a replacement part that somebody put on afterwards. But the main problem with this door was down here on this lower edge. I had a big rust hole in the corner, which I think is pretty common for these cars. So we cut that out, welded in a new patch, but really we didn't get it to the same shape, the same curve as the rest of the door. So there's a really low spot right here in the corner. Right behind that, there's kind of a high spot, and then there's a really big low spot back here. You know, and I tried to heat this up and shrink the metal and get it to relieve that low spot, but I wasn't too successful in doing that. So I put filler on here and I had it all sanded down, and by the time everything smoothed out, I had about 3/16 of an inch of filler depth all along the side edge and the bottom edge of this corner. And I don't want that. If you bump into that and chip it, your paint comes off. I want to have steel all along the edges of these doors. I don't want to have any filler along the edge unless it's a really thin, just filling some little minor imperfections. But I can't have 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch. I can't have any significant thickness of filler right at the edge of the door. So let me bring the camera over a little closer, show you what I'm talking about. I'll put a straight edge on here and you'll be able to see the gap in between the highs and the lows, so you'll know what I'm talking about and why I've decided to just cut this skin off and put a new one on. Okay, so I've got a straight edge set up on the door, and we're looking at a gap under the straight edge between the door skin and the straight edge, and you can see all of the light that comes through that gap. This is the bottom corner of the door. There's a high spot underneath that level bubble. There's no light coming through there, and then behind it, this is that really big area that had a lot of fill. You can see a lot of light comes through there. And no matter what I did, I couldn't raise that large area. I couldn't get that dent out of there to my satisfaction. I didn't want to have that much fill on it, and if I moved this straight edge, you know, around, it still shows a big gap. And because, you know, we're doing a lot of work on the whole car, you know, here's a gap all the way along the edge. This is the bottom of the door where I should have just steel. It doesn't get tight until I get back to this level bubble, the back end of this level bubble back here. I'll pull out a little bit and you can see how big that is. Thing doesn't fall off of here and hit me in the head. But there's, you know, an indication of how long that is. That's about at least a foot from between the front edge of that level and that second level bubble. All right, so you saw that big gap between the straight edge and the door skin. I'm going to show you how I tried to fix it. It didn't really turn out the way that I wanted it to, so I am going to cut this door skin off and replace it with a new one. But let's go take a look at what I tried to do to make it work. All right, so I'm going to hammer a little bit on the corner of this door and try and bring this outside edge out on the front side so I don't have to put a lot of filler, and maybe I can save this skin. Whenever you do this, it's really loud, so you want to have some ear protection on. Here we go. Just do a little bit at a time. Don't want to overdo it. Now that hasn't done anything. I gotta go, could be almost 1/4 of an inch. It's just it's too far gone. Yeah, that's not working. Try it again a little bit more. There's no way I can move this thing 1/4 of an inch. It's pretty good to this point, so from here to here is okay, but from this point down to the bottom it's come up a little bit. But it's still not good. This deer comes over here all the time, likes to watch what I'm doing. Right on the other side of the fence, so she's not too far away. It's only about 20 feet. You know, we're zoomed out. This is where I'm working. And she's right there. And I can hear another one in the leaves. Oh, there he is, way in the back. I don't know if you can see him. Oh, there are 2 of them. Way back there. See if we can zoom in on them. They're moving. So they're here all the time. Yeah, they just come and eat, hang out. Sometimes they sleep right there. Yeah. She hears me talking now. She'll stay there for a while. The other ones are probably working their way down to the end of the fence, and then they're going to come into my yard towards me. So we might have some company in a little while. Maybe not, I don't know. Alright, well, I'll go back over to this door for a few minutes and see what these guys do. Alright, so my deer is still right over there watching what I'm doing. Hey, buddy. Anyway, been pounding on this thing a little bit. I managed to get the corners up and create like a bowl at the edges. I don't know if it's worth trying to fill it or not. I might give it one more chance to try and flatten this out a little bit. And see, I really don't want to have a lot of filler right at the edge of the door. But if I can get it so that it's all metal right around this edge, and a little bit of filler in the middle here, that might not be so bad. Might be able to save this skin. Might need a little bit more hammering on it though. Still kind of a high spot right in here. That might cause a problem, however. Let's see if we can tap it some more with the hammer. See how long the deer stays here when I start doing that. She's really close. They're pretty tame. They're used to people, I guess. Didn't go far. 8 feet away. There was something down there she didn't like too. just going to cut this one off and put on a new one. But before I do that, I'm going to take some measurements of what the key points are on this existing one, so that when I put on the new one, I have the same dimensions in the key locations. Okay, so before I cut this skin off, I'm going to take some measurements of some critical dimensions on here, so that when I put the new one on, I try and get those same dimensions to be as close as we possibly can. There's some main features on the door that are really important. The distance, the length of this body line on this door is 49 1/4. So take a little bit of time before you cut your door skin off. Go ahead, go around, measure it all up, make some notes. I got a notebook here. Everything I do I write down. I take pictures. Just going to write these dimensions down. Then when I get that new skin and put it on, I'm going to make sure that we try and hit those dimensions as close as we can. That way that new skin will fit just as well as this original one did. And the door will look as close as we can get it to the way an original door looked.